Happy Friday, everybody. Happy to be here with you for some Pilates on this lovely rainy Friday. We got 45 minutes of class. We're going to start and finish in standing. No additional props are required. I might recommend a cushion to bring for your knees for when we're on all fours at various points during class. As usual, I'll cue you when that might be helpful. A rolled up towel, a pillow, or a little gardening pad all work great. No problem. We are all set. And I'm going to stop talking and we're going to start moving. So if you do have a cushion, go ahead and grab it, bring it up to the mat with you, and we'll leave it off to the. Okay, let's get those feet shoulder width apart. We're going to get our heels shoulder width apart, and the toes are going to be a little bit farther apart. They're going to point toward the front bottom corners of our room. Let's settle our weight slightly back, just to the back edges of our arches, right at the front portion of our heel, and we'll soften up our knees, bend them up just enough that we're not hyperextending through those knees. They could be a little bit bent. They might still look straight though, depending on how straight and hyperextended your knees end up being when you are just hanging on them. We're gonna spread those toes away from each other. Big toe comes in, pinky toe comes out. We get that nice stretch across our instep. We may even get a little stretch through our arches. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, we're going to draw belly and spine toward each other, and we'll feel that familiar seatbelt of muscles engaging around our midsection from the bottom of our lowest ribs all the way down toward the pubic bone in front, the tops of that pelvis on the sides and back. Let's drop our fingertips down toward the outer knee joint lines, and we'll take those shoulders and shrug them up and down, allowing those blades to slide smoothly up along the chest and back and down along the chest and along that rib cage behind the body. Let's squeeze our shoulder blades together behind the back as if we're cracking a walnut between them, and then we'll release. Again, squeeze them together and release. One more time, squeeze them together and release. And we'll give those shoulders a little roll. We'll take them up to the ears, back and toward each other, and down toward our hips. One more big circle, and let's tip our head from side to side. Lengthen out through the side of the neck. Lengthen out through the top of the shoulder. We'll repeat that one more time. Big breath out, bring that head up. Nod the chin gently back toward the neck and turn. Let's look side to side, first toward each side wall. And then if we have a little bit more room to move, we can turn and look with our eyes and maybe even with our head toward the wall behind us. Same thing to the other side. Turn and look. Turn and look. And one more time, let's turn and look over that opposite shoulder before coming right back to center. Big breath in again. Exhale, reset belly to spine as needed. Let's sweep those arms overhead toward the ceiling. Sweep them out to the sides and down by the body. One more time, sweep those arms out, up and overhead. We're going to clasp our fingers, turn the palms toward the ceiling, and gently let those shoulder blades release down the backside of the body again. Press those palms up to the ceiling, straightening the elbows out as best you can. We're going to tuck those elbows right in by our head and keeping that core nice and active. Let's push to a nice tall side bend, bringing the upper body up and over with the palms and the crown of the head reaching toward the top of our side wall. As we bring our body up tall, we can assist that motion by pressing firmly through the heel on the side that we've been bent toward. Breathe up to the ceiling, exhale and side bend. Breathe up to the ceiling and exhale, side bend. Let's bring everything up vertical. Again, we drop our shoulders down the backside of that trunk. We soften up our knees a little bit more. Let's take our fingers away from each other. And we're going to open our elbows to goalposts. Elbows are bent 90 degrees. Elbows and shoulders are level with each other. And again, those blades are sliding down the backside of the body, so we're avoiding any kind of tendency to shrug or hunch those shoulders. Let's rotate our forearms forward and back, picturing our shoulders spinning in their sockets as we rotate. Internal rotation, external rotation. One more time. Forearms forward, forearms back to the ceiling, keeping those shoulders released and away from the ears. Let's straighten our elbows out and stretch our fingertips toward our side walls. As we reach the fingertips outward, we're thinking about widening our collarbones, stretching them away from the center of the body, away from that breastbone. Let's hold here. And now we're going to bring our fingertips forward slightly so we can see our thumbs wiggle in our peripheral vision. Now that's how we know that our arms are in line with our shoulder blades. Let's keep our core active or reset belly and spine toward each other. And we're going to turn from our breastbone, rotating that upper body. The nose, the eyes, and that breastbone are moving in line with each other as we turn toward one side wall and then to the other. We may feel a little burn through our upper arms as we hold the weight of our arms out. We're spinning on that long axis that goes crown of the head all the way to the tailbone. We bring our body back to face our screen, and then let's squeeze our shoulder blades together, bringing our hands toward the wall behind us, and we'll give them a little pulse. If you need to bend your elbows to take a little bit of that fatigue away from the shoulders, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and do so. Squeeze 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now we bring our arms down by our sides. Let's give those shoulders a little bouncing shrugs. Maybe we rub out those upper arms a little bit. And we're now going to narrow up our base of support, bringing our heels in line with our sit bones. And we have our toes in line with our heels. So we have parallel feet facing that screen. We're shifting our weight now from our heels to just in front of our ankle joint. So right at the high point of our arch. From here, let's take our fingertips and our thumbs to circle our waistline. So we have fingers in front, thumbs in back. And we're going to lift our toes up. As the toes come up, we'll notice that that inside arch of the foot does lift a bit away from the floor. We're doing our best to keep the base of the big toe and the base of the pinky on that mat. So the ball of the foot is still near the floor, but those toes are lifted. Spread your toes apart again. We're going to get that nice stretch across the instep. And then let's take our toes down one at a time if we can. Feel free to look down at your feet. The pinky goes down first, and then sequentially we bring each toe down until finally that big toe comes to the floor. Repeat, lift the toes, spread them apart, and tap them down. Lift them up, spread them apart, and tap them down. One more time, lift the toes, spread them apart, tap them to the floor, and as we press our big toe down, we're going to scrunch those toes back toward our heels. So we'll feel our arches lift up a bit further from the floor. Scrunch them back. Scrunch them back. We're trying to keep the pad of the toes on the floor here. So the arch is what's lifting. All right, relax those toes, shake the legs out a little bit. And again, we start here with our weight over the balls, or excuse me, over the front of our ankles. Now we shift to the balls of the feet, and then we shift back toward the heels. Reset belly and spine, drawing them toward each other. And let's press our fingertips and our thumb right through to the center of our trunk. We're gonna feel a little bit of increase in activity as we hit our end ranges, where those muscles have to work a little bit harder to keep us upright. Let's come back over the front of our ankles, and moving as one unit from the head to the foot, we shift our weight from side to side so that trunk and pelvis stay level. There's the same amount of space from rib cage to pelvis through that waistline. It may not be a ton, but the space stays the same as we shift. We're going to feel the sides of our hips kick in as well. And then let's make some circles around our base. As we press our fingers and thumbs toward each other, we'll feel those oblique muscles acting a little bit differently depending on where we are in that range. They activate in a way that keeps us nice and steady and upright over our feet. Let's go ahead and circle the other way. Again, feel those muscles turn on and turn off, acting a little bit differently depending on where we are in that range. And we'll pause now with our weight over the balls of the feet. Again, we spread our toes away from each other. We press our pinky and our big toe into the floor nice and firmly. And let's bring ourselves forward enough that we feel the soles of the feet and the bottoms of the toes activate. And we're going to hover our heels up off the floor. Now, it doesn't matter if you're a millimeter off the floor or several inches. I want you to hold wherever that point of maybe a little bit of challenge to your balance might be. We're going to feel the soles of our feet, the calves, maybe even the hamstrings, maybe the adductors, those inner thighs. Maybe our glutes get into the mix a touch. It's more likely going to be those hamstrings. And we hold here for 3, for 2, and for 1. Keeping the weight forward, we'll lower our heels to the mat. And then let's shift our weight back to the ankles, shaking out those knees as we do so. Shake your wrists out. Let's bring our hands up to shoulder level, and keeping those elbows nice and straight, we'll point our fingertips down and up. Palms toward the body, palms toward the screen. Fingertips down, fingertips up. We're going to hold here with the palms facing the screen and the fingertips pointing to the ceiling. And let's open our arms out to T. Notice we might get a little pull through those fingers. We might feel the palms stretching out. We might feel a little bit more length through our biceps here. Let's again point those fingertips down and up. Lengthen through all those tissues that surround those nerves that come out from our neck to our chest, through those arms. And we'll bring our hands down by our sides, shake and roll everything out. And let's get ready to make our way down to the mat. Now is when you want to grab your cushion. If you do want to use it, we'll drop it right in the center of our mat and turn to face it. We can step back. So we're a foot and a half away from that center portion of the mat. We want to make sure our shins have enough length, enough distance, so when we come down, the knees go right onto that extra padding. So I'm gonna back up just a touch further since I don't have any padding on the mat. And let's place our the pinkies, outside the pinkies, right where the thighs fold into the femur. Keeping those knees soft, we'll move the body forward. We'll take that trunk down toward the mat, crown of the head to the wall in front of us, tailbone pointing toward the wall behind us. We pause when we first start to feel a stretch through our thighs. And if that trunk is still pretty upright, go ahead and bend your knees a little bit more and let's see if we can get a little bit more length through the backs of the thighs. Squeeze your glutes, feel the hips engage. And let's keep our fingertips resting in the fold in the hips, and we shift our weight from side to side. We should feel this activate our rear end muscles a little bit further. We'll be working on those side shifts when we're on all fours a little bit later in class. Coming back to center, reach the fingertips down, let the arms hang nice and freely toward the floor. Let's move to a row, squeezing and releasing those blades. Feeling the mid back right between those shoulder blades engage. And then let's tuck our arms in by our sides and straighten the elbows out, feeling the backs of the arms start to work. We'll press one more time and then let's sweep our hands toward the mat. Lower yourself down. We're going to bring our hands to the floor first. We'll walk them forward and then let's lower our knees down toward our cushion or just simply to the mat underneath our hips. Let's press the balls of the feet into the floor. If that's too much pressure for your toes, feel free to turn the tops of the feet down to the floor right away. Otherwise, we're going to hold here, take a big breath in and reset belly and spine toward each other as we exhale. Feel that seatbelt again engaged through the midsection. Let's rock the bottom back and forth as if we're balancing something in the small of our back. We want to keep that trunk nice and steady. Our hips are moving, our shoulders are moving, our knees are moving. And we get a little stretch through our toes. Coming back to center, let's press through our hands and shift our weight from one side to the other. Coming back to center again, squeeze your blades together, drop that breastbone toward the floor. The head stays nice and still. And then we press through the heels of the hands, dropping the shoulder blades toward the floor. Squeeze behind the back, press those blades forward, wrap them around the front of the body, squeeze and press. One more time, squeeze them together, press them apart, hold there, and we curl to cat. Belly button to the ceiling, curling that tailbone under. Take it to cow, navel drops to the floor as our tailbone comes through the ceiling and that breastbone faces the wall in front of us. Curl to cat. Take it through to cow. Curl to cat. Take it to cow, and one more time, curl through to cat. Take it to cow. Coming right back to center, we press firmly through the heels of the hands again. Reset belly to spine. Now we turn the tops of the feet down to the mat and shake those legs out of touch. Let's tap one foot at a time just beyond the outer border of our mat, keeping the pelvis and trunk nice and still as we do so. We'll tap one more time on each side out to the outer border, and then let's reverse that. We'll cross one ankle over the other, moving into external rotation. We may feel a little stretch through our hips. We might not feel a whole lot. If we have a decent amount of rotation through our hips, this isn't going to pull us toward any point where we'd be stretching our muscles. Let's hold here, draw those big toes together. Take the knees out toward the outer edges of the mat. And again, we're going to rock the bottom back and then pull ourselves up with the shoulders over the wrists again. Press back, pull forward, press back, and now we slide our hands forward toward the head of our mat. See how long you can keep those elbows straight. And from there, at that point where you first start to feel a little stretch with straight elbows, we're going to extend those fingertips, reach them forward toward the head of the mat. And drop the forehead down. Maybe it touches the mat. Maybe the head just rests between our arms. From here, we wrap our shoulder blades around the front of the body again. And we're going to get a nice long stretch through the sides of the trunk, through the backs of the trunk again, right over the backs of those shoulder blades. Wiggle that trunk from side to side. Remembering it's always okay to bend your elbows if we need some more slack through the sides of our body. Come on back to center and walk the hands toward the screen. We'll pause with those thumbs just crossing one over the other. Again, elbows are straight or bent. We breathe into the far side of the body. As we inhale, we'll feel the rib cage on the opposite side open out as those muscles lengthen out. Breathing out, we walk through to the other side. Again, pausing with those thumbs crossed. Hands are right next to each other. And take a big breath in, opening up that opposite side of the rib cage. Let's breathe right back to center. Walk the hands a little bit closer to the body. Breathing in and exhale, drop the shoulders toward the floor away from the ears. Press the hand closest to the screen into the mat. We'll lift our other hand up and we're gonna thread it through, reach it across the body toward our screen. Take a big breath, looking toward those fingertips. We place that hand right back next to the other one. Inhale, exhale, press through the opposite hand. Lift the hand on the screen side, thread it through toward the far wall, and look over your shoulder. Let's repeat. Hands are lined up with each other. Breathing out, we thread that needle toward the screen. The hand comes back in front to meet the other. Press through the floor. Thread the needle toward the far wall. Excellent. Let's bring both hands to the mat. We'll drop to the forearm and walk those forearms forward, allowing our rear end to come a little bit farther away from our bottom. Let's bring our shins parallel to each other and take the cushion out from under your knees. Place it somewhere we can grab it again in a little while, and we'll lengthen our thighs out till we rest on our thighs just below the hips. Big breath in here. Exhale, belly to spine. Press your shoulder blades toward the floor, and we hold. Now we lift that belly to the ceiling. Let's come up to rest just above our knees. We're in a little mini modified plank here, and we're going to shift our weight from side to side. Push the floor away with those forearms, keeping the shoulder blades pressing away from the middle of the back. Coming back to center, we take a breath in, and breathing out, we come to our side facing our screen. We'll take our forearm and tuck it underneath the body as we turn over to our backs. Let's line our heels up with our knees and our sit bones, so equal distance between our ankles, our knees, and the two sides of our hips and our pelvis. With the arms resting by the side, big breath in, exhale, widen those collarbones away from the center of the body, feeling that chest open up. We'll turn our head from side to side, and then we face the ceiling. Let's picture our pelvic clock with a pubic bone holding toward the breastbone, and the two sides of the pelvis lining up with each other. We're going to curl to 12. Pubic bone comes toward the breastbone. We flatten our low back into the mat. Lengthen that tailbone to the heels. There's 6 o'clock. We allow that low back to arch up away from the mat if that feels appropriate. Curl and flatten to 12. Tailbone to the heels, lengthen back to our 6 o'clock position. Curl to 12. Lengthen to 6, and one more time through. Curl to 12. We're going to hold that 12 o'clock curl. Keeping that pubic bone, reaching toward the breastbone. Squeeze those glutes. We're going to peel our hips up off the mat. Rise to a small range bridge, just far enough that we feel a little bit of length through the front of our thighs. Press through your heels, lift up a touch higher, lengthening the knees toward the wall in front. Big breath in. Exhale, and let's lengthen that tailbone down toward our heels. Releasing the glutes at the bottom. Now we rock our knees toward our screen and away, opening up those hips on the side we're moving away from. Let's bring our knees right back to center. Big breath in. Exhale, belly to spine. Fingertips come to the points on the sides of the pelvis. Our far side is 3 o'clock. Our side closest to the screen is 9. We're going to rock toward 3 o'clock, dropping that side hip as our opposite hip lifts up. Roll back through neutral. The pelvis is level. And then we rock the screen side toward the mat, lifting the far side for 9 o'clock. Coming through neutral, and then we rock to 3. We take it through neutral and rock it over to 9. One more time, rock through to 3. Roll it back the other direction toward the screen for 9 o'clock, and we come right back to center and float our arms to the ceiling. Give the chin a little nod so you can see your kneecaps and your peripheral vision, and then we're going to raise both legs up to our tabletop position. Big breath in, exhale, reset belly to spine. Let's take our hands to the front of the thighs and press the thighs and hands toward each other. As we drop our shoulders from our ears, we'll give a little more pressure through the hands. We feel that whole front side of the trunk activating. Let's keep them working. Keep that pressure through the hands. We're going to take our feet away from each other and then toward them. So we're giving a little hip rotation, still feeling that trunk working. Coming back to center, toes come toward each other, knees come apart. Still giving pressure through those hands and thighs toward each other. Coming back to parallel now, we reset the belly to the spine, float the arms to the ceiling, and let's take our toes up to the ceiling as well. Straighten and bend those knees with the thighs staying nice and level. There's 3, and bend. Here's 2, and bend. Last time, straighten and bend. We're going to take that arm closest to the screen, arc it back behind us toward the far wall. And then stretch the opposite leg forward, reaching it toward the wall in front of us. Inhale, back to tabletop, arms to the ceiling. Exhale, switch, lengthening. Arm and opposite leg away from each other. Inhale the tabletop, exhale and switch. Inhale the tabletop, exhale and switch. Hold that screen side leg covered up off the floor, outstretched, and we'll pull our opposite bent knee in toward the body. We lower that hovered leg to the floor, and let's take the bent knee and cross the body, lengthening into our outer hip on the side that we're lifting gently up off the mat. Let's come back to center, breathe it in, and switch those legs on the exhale. Lengthen and press the back of that knee into the floor. We take our other knee and cross it over the body, opening up into that glute. Coming back to center, grab the shin, roll the shoulders back and down. Big breath in, exhale. Reset belly to spine, look toward those kneecaps as we hover our other supporting straight leg off the floor. Let's lift those toes toward the ceiling, keeping the tailbone down. Find the length behind the back of the thigh, and then stretch forward and down the wall in front of us till that heel is barely off the floor. Inhale, leg to the ceiling, exhale, lengthen it forward. 2 more times, inhale and lift, exhale, lengthen toward the wall and down. Last time through, inhale, lift that leg up, moving from the hip. Exhale, lengthen forward to hover, and we take that hovered leg side to side. There's 4. Here's 3. Last 2. And 1. Breathe that knee right into the chest. Exhale the opposite leg forward to hover. Hold it here, stretching the toes away from that bent knee. Big breath in and exhale, belly to spine. Sweep that leg to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, forward and down the wall to hover. Inhale, toes to the ceiling. Exhale to hover. Inhale, toes to the ceiling. Exhale to hover. And 1 final time. Inhale, toes to the ceiling. Exhale, forward, down the wall to hover. And we take that hovered leg side to side. There's 4. Here's 3. We're doing our best to draw a nice horizontal line. And 1. Stretch that leg to the wall in front. And we'll switch sides. Pull and press. Switch and press. Switch and press. Here's 4. Switch 3. And 2. 1. Leg closest to the screen is drawn into the body. We take the other side to the mat. Hang on behind the lifted thigh. And let's stretch our toes up to the ceiling. Wiggling through the knee, finding that hamstring length. Pause where you are. It's okay if that knee's not all the way straight. We'll wiggle through our ankle. Point the toes to the ceiling. Reset that belly to the spine. And let's take our hands to the floor. Decide if that knee is going to be straight or a little bent. We take our lifted leg from side to side, moving in a range where we can keep the back of the pelvis nice and still and firmly pressed into the mat. Where we can keep that core active. Where we can keep that breastbone facing the ceiling. Circle the ceiling, stirring that hip in its socket. Again, bending the knee to give you a little more range if you want to try it that way. Pause at the top and take a breath. Exhaling, we'll move that circle in the other direction. There's 4. Here's 3. 2. And 1. Hang on behind that lifted thigh and roll the shoulders back and down. Big breath in, exhale, belly to spine, nod to look at those knees. Hover the straight supporting leg up off the mat. Let's switch them up. Pull, grabbing on behind that knee, we'll lengthen the opposite leg down to the floor. And we wiggle through our lifted leg, finding the hamstrings. Bend and straighten, pause, finding that stretch point, whether the knee is straight or bent. Wiggle through the ankle. Point those toes to the ceiling. Reset that midsection and take the hands to the mat. Again, deciding if that knee is going to be straight or a bit bent. We bring that lifted leg side to side, keeping the pelvis straight ahead, nice and still, and facing the ceiling. Take it to the side, bring it up and over, and we circle for 4. For 3, 2, breathe in at the top, and then exhaling, we'll take it the other way. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hang on behind the lifted thigh. Give those shoulders a roll back and down. We reset belly to spine and nod to look at those kneecaps. Hover that supporting leg off the floor. Switch legs. Lengthening. 1 to the ceiling, 1 to the wall in front. Switch again. Maybe we bend our elbows to draw that lifted stretching leg a little closer to the body. Switch 4. Switch 3. Last 2. and one. Give everything a hug into the body. Pull those knees slightly away from each other and the toes slightly together, and rock from side to side. Big breath in. Breathe it out. One more time. Big breath in as we rock. Big breath out as we rock. And we come right back to center. Let's go ahead and bring those knees to tabletop. Flex up the feet, give them a little circle. Ankles circle one direction, then the ankles circle the other. Point the toes again. The toes come together. We turn our knees apart. We reach our arms to the ceiling and drop those blades down. Big breath in, exhale, belly to spine. Draw the toes toward the midsection, knees toward the outer walls for a frog. Breathing out, we press our toes up to where the wall and ceiling meet in front of us. Inhale, frog, and exhale, press. If you want to take this a little further, inhale, frog, baby. Exhaling, we press a little further down the wall in front of us. We need to take it back a notch. Inhale, frog, exhale, press toward the ceiling. We have 4 more at the level you're choosing. Frog to press. Here's 3. And press. Last 2. Press. And 1. Press those legs forward. We'll turn them toward each other and sweep them to the ceiling. Big breath in. Exhale, open to V. Toes to the sidewalls. Inhale, feet together. Exhale to V. Inhale them together. 2 more. Exhale, V. Inhale, toes to the ceiling. And exhale, V. Inhale, toes to the ceiling. We'll bring them slightly away from each other. Bend to tabletop. And let's flex those feet again. Inhale again. Exhale, belly to spine. Let's see if we can bring our heels down toward the mat. And then lift them back to tabletop. One at a time or both. Decide what challenge is working for you. Exhale, heels down. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, heels down. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, heels down. Inhale, heels up. Heels down for the last time. We take our toes to the floor, arc the arms down by the body, and rock those knees toward the screen and away. We'll continue to rock. Let's bend our knees a little bit more, taking the heels a little closer to our bottom. Coming back to center, breathe it in, and exhale. We'll get ready for bridging. Draw the belly to the spine, squeeze the glutes, and we're going to press through our heels, lifting our hips and stretching the knees to the wall in front. Let's take a big breath in at the top. Exhale, lengthen down, tailbone to heels as we bring the body to the mat. Tap the floor, squeeze and lift, pressing the arms into the floor if you need a little bit of an assist. Exhale and lower, inhale, squeeze and lift. Exhale and lower, inhale, squeeze and lift. Hold it here, breathing in. Exhale, hold the lift. With the hands by the sides, we go up on our toes for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe those hips down to the mat and release the glutes at the bottom. Let's take our knees side to side for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those knees back to the ceiling. Take that breath. Exhale, belly to spine. Squeeze and lift the hips. Holding those hips up to the ceiling. We keep our glutes engaged and bring one knee at a time out toward each side wall. Keep the hips lifted. Keep that belly drawn toward the spine. And if you feel this in your low back, take the hips down a little closer to the floor. Breathe those hips to the ceiling and exhale, lengthen down. Again, we release the glutes at the bottom. This time we rock that pelvis from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock and repeat that one more time. Curl to 12 and to 6. Coming back to center, we take a big breath in, squeeze those glutes, exhaling, we lift those hips toward the ceiling again. We'll finish our bridging series with our march, taking one knee at a time up toward the ceiling. We're challenging a little further by stretching those toes upwards, straightening those knees out as we continue to press through our other heel to keep those hips lifted. Here's 4. Lift 3. And 2. Press through those hands. The last one. Bring that foot to the floor. We'll squeeze and lift the hips up another fraction of an inch. And exhale down. Release the glutes at the bottom. Rock those knees toward the screen and away. There's 4. Here's 3. And 2. Last one. Come on back to center. Cross the ankle on the screen side over to the far knee. If you have a little more slack, go ahead and lift up to lifted figure 4. And either way, we rock away from and toward that crossed over leg to move the stretch to different points in that thigh. Coming back to center, we'll switch them up. Ankle to knee and lift. Again, we rock. We keep that rocking going. Big breath in and exhale back to center. Unwind, give those knees one more hug and our feet come to the floor. Let's go ahead and turn ourselves over to hands and knees, grabbing our cushions if you'd like them. Let's reset ourselves, wrists and shoulders, knees and hips are lined up. We move through cat and cow. Again, curl to cat. Rolling through cow. Come on back to center, turn the toes under. We're going to repeat that cat-cow. We have a chance to take it a little further if you'd like by pressing through the heels of the hands, pressing through the toes, and unweighting our knees. Knees can come back down if necessary, but we have a curl to cat and a reversal to cow. One more time, curl to cat, take it to cow. Take it back to center, loading those knees again if you need, if you can. And we take our toes back down to the floor, tops of the toes to the floor. Hold it here. Let's move to our shoulder taps, taking one hand at a time to the opposite shoulder. Pressing from out on that side that we're shifting toward. With that hand pressing down into the floor, let's take our leg closest to the screen, lengthen it back, and lift it up to trunk level. Toes are reaching back. We take our opposite arm forward and we hold our bird dog. Hold 4, hold 3, hold 2, and hold 1. Switch it up, lengthening the opposite leg back, squeezing and lifting toward trunk height. Arm on that screen side lifts up, we reach it to the wall in front, and we hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch it up again, lengthen and reach. We want to imagine there's something balanced in the small of the back that can stay nice and still. Switch it up again, lengthen and reach. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. That hand comes down, our knee comes down. Shake your wrists out. Take a big breath in. Shake them out. And on that next breath out, we'll reset belly to spine. Shift away from the screen and lift that bent leg closest to the screen out toward the screen. We're going to hold it there. Keep the pelvis facing the floor. That leg stays lifted out. We're going to bring our knee in toward the elbow, and we're going to press that knee back to the wall behind us. So we're making a little arc with that leg. It stays out away from the body. We should feel our outer hip working and the shoulder blade working, particularly on the side of the moving leg. Take that leg down, big breath in. Hold here on the exhale. Shake out that wrist on the screen side. We're going to repeat on the other side. Let's shift toward the screen. Press into the far hand. The opposite knee stays bent, and we stretch that leg toward the side wall. Repeat again, draw it down and then stretch it to the side wall. And we arc the knee toward the elbow. We arc the knee toward our back wall. Arc the knee toward the elbow. Arc the knee toward the wall behind our bottoms. Arc it toward the elbow. Arc it back one more time. Arc it toward the elbow. Arc it back. That knee comes down. We curl through cat. We take it to cow and we come right back to center. Shake that wrist out. All right, we are going to come down to our forearms. We'll walk those forearms forward, and let's go ahead and reset belly to spine. Squeeze your blades together, press them apart, and keeping that core engaged, we're going to slide one leg out behind us, pressing the ball of the foot into the floor. The hips can stay lifted slightly above shoulder level as we press those blades downward, and we're going to bring our other leg up to meet. So we're in a little mini upside down V. From here, shift your shoulders over your elbows. Wiggle those feet back. Let's see if we can come into a forearm plank. We can have those knees lifted and straight, or we can have the knees down and bent. You decide what's working for you. And we'll shift our weight side to side, toward the screen and away, toward the screen and away. One more time each, toward the screen and away. And let's come right back to center. Knees come down. We'll take that cushion out from under us and let's come to rest on our upper thighs. As we press through our hands, we'll send our breastbone up and forward toward that wall. Let's nod the chin toward the neck. Take a big breath in and exhale, belly towards spine. Hold that position. We're going to kick one heel at a time toward the bottom. Doing our best to keep that low back curve nice and steady. Kick 4, kick 3, kick 2, kick 1. Straighten those legs out. See if you can bend both knees. Maybe those toes only come up just about to the ceiling. Maybe they come up a little closer to the bottom. 2 more. And 1. Coming back down. We're going to bring our lowest ribs to the floor, press the hands into the mat, and let's take ourselves up and we'll turn to the opposite direction. We're going to stay lengthwise on our mat, bend up the knees, and line the heels up with our sit bones. Let's grab on behind the thighs, keeping those feet flexed just to avoid any cramps. We'll give our shoulders a roll back and down, reset belly and spine toward each other, and lean that body back until we can use our hands to support our thighs there. Hold. Let's take one hand to each outer knee. We'll press the hands and thighs toward each other. Tuck your elbows in right by those thighs. Our gaze is going to stay directly forward. That breastbone faces the wall in front, and let's open and close one arm at a time. As we continue to open and close, we're going to do our best to keep even pressure through both cheeks, both sides of the pelvis. We're resting with our weight right behind that tailbone. We should feel even pressure on both sides. We should feel our side muscles engaging a little bit differently as we continue to switch those arms. We'll grab onto our shins, pull the body up nice and tall, and give those shoulders a roll back and down. Let's take our hands back behind the body. Fingertips are going to be pointed slightly out to the sides, maybe on a diagonal. We sink back into the heels of our hands. Let's straighten out our elbows and press the shoulders away from the ears. And we squeeze our blades together. Holding there, let's send our breastbone up toward the top of the wall in front of us. We can nod the chin back a little bit. I want you to think about keeping the shoulders away from the ears, though. That's the main concern here. And we're going to walk that bottom forward. We can inch our knees from side to side to help with that little forward motion. We should start to feel a stretch in the upper arms, right in the front, right in those biceps. If this is enough, go ahead and hold it here. Think about taking those collarbones away from center. And if you want a little bit more, press through your heels and lift that bottom up. Maybe just a touch. Maybe we can take them all the way up till we get close to a straight line from shoulders to waist to hips to knees. Wherever we are, we're going to hold it here for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Lower that bottom. Turn to face the screen. Give your wrists a little shake. Give those shoulders a little roll. And we'll tip that head from side to side. Excellent. Let's come back to center. Make our way all the way down to the mat. And rest on that bottom arm. Our knees are bent, and we're going to lift that waistline up just a touch. With the top hand on the hip, we'll bring our top knee up and down. Take it up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Move it to hydrants. Lift for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Take that leg all the way back down. Top hand comes to the mat. Top leg stays still. We're going to slide the bottom leg out so our top toes touch the bottom knee. Again, we take our top knee up and down. There's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Keep the knee where it is. Bring the foot up to meet it. And we take that leg up and down. Hydrants for 4. For 3. For 2. For 1. Straighten that top leg out. Stretch the toes toward the screen. Slide that leg back. Feel free to let the bottom leg slide forward a little for counterbalance. Swing forward. And press back. Swing the leg forward. Take it back. If you want to challenge the last one, hand comes right behind your ear. Swing forward. Take it back. Hand can stay lifted around the mat. Toes touch down. Lift them up. Toes touch down and lift. Toes down. Lift up. Toes down. Lift and hold. Our top hand comes to the mat and we pulse the leg up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it just above hip height and slide the bottom leg down, back and down in line with the top leg. Lift that bottom leg up. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top leg comes down. Bend the knees up. Give your hip a little quick pat. And let's take ourselves to our other side. All right. Resting on that bottom arm. Again, we'll bend up our knees. Line our heels up with our sit bones and take the top hand to the waistline. Keeping that core engaged, top knee comes up and down. There's 4. Here's 3. Lift 2. And 1. Float that knee down. Take the whole leg up for hydrants. Lift 3. Lift 2. Lift one, back to hip height. Top hand comes to the mat. We slide the bottom leg out and take the top toes to the bottom knee. That knee comes up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. The knee stays still. We bring the foot up to meet it and lift to hydrants. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold that leg there. Press the top hand into the mat and stretch those toes and the knees out toward the screen. Swing back, taking the bottom leg forward slightly for counterbalance. Swing forward, point it back, swing forward, point it back. One more time, maybe we take our hand to the back of the ear, swing forward, point it back. Toes come down and lift. Touch them down and lift. 2 more, lift up. Last one, lift and hold, pressing the top hand into the floor and pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Slide the bottom leg back and take it up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we bring that top leg down, bend up our knees. Give that hip a quick pat before turning onto the back. All right, once we're on our backs, we will bring our arms down by our sides. Let's walk the heels in toward the bottom. Ankles and knees are together as we rock the lower half of the body toward the screen and away, allowing the hip to come up on the side we're moving away from. Try to keep those shoulders resting into the floor so we can keep those collarbones nice and wide, and that chest nice and open. Might get a little noise through the back. It's okay. Come on back to center, cross an ankle over the other knee. And again, if we have a little more slack, we can lift. Either way, we rock away from and toward that crossed over leg as we take a big breath in and a big breath out. Come on back to center, let's switch. Ankle to knee. Lifting up if we can. Rock away from and toward that crossed over leg. Big breath in. Big breath out. Coming right back to center. Let's unwind. We'll take our feet to the floor. Reach the arms to the ceiling and take a big breath in. As we exhale, we nod the chin. We drop the middle of the body right at that breastbone, right at that lowest rib to the mat. We engage belly to spine and we hold those connections with the mat as we open our arms out to T. Stop at the first point where you get a stretch through the chest. Maybe those hands come all the way to the mat. If they don't want to touch, you can bring them down a little closer to the hips. Turn your head from side to side. Open up the chest and the neck on the side we're looking away from. Let's look back to the ceiling. Sweep the arms to the ceiling. And we'll arc them back to the wall behind us, lengthening them down the wall toward the floor, far as you can with the elbows staying straight. One more time. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale, open back behind us. Inhale to the ceiling. Now we can turn toward our screen. Pop ourselves over to hands and knees. Again, grab your cushion if you'd like it. And we settle into that all fours position for 2 more cat-cows. Curl it up. Lengthen the other way. One more time, curl it up. And lengthen the other way. Come on back to center, give that tail a wag. Come on back to center, turn the toes under and walk those hands back to the legs. And walk the weight back until it's right over our ankles. We'll get our bearings as we stand up nice and tall. Take a moment, shake things out, roll those shoulders back and down, and let's meet in the center of our mat. Let's open our feet up to shoulder width apart, toes turned out again toward the bottom front corners of our room. Soften the knees, take a big breath in, and let's exhale belly and spine toward each other. Inhale, arms up, exhale them out and down. Inhale, arms up, palms face each other, fingertips reach up to the ceiling, and we drop those blades down. Let's breathe over to one side, breathe up nice and tall, and breathe out over to the other. Inhale up tall. Let's take our feet together, press the palms together as we look upward, and we exhale to center. Great work as always. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll do it again next time. Thanks.